Hello, it's a smoky afternoon in Denver, Colorado, and I thought I would take this day to go on a test ride on our 3-year-old ebikeling 500 watt e-bike conversion kit and the Schwinn bicycle. So I stopped at this little creek to do this intro, and I'll show you a few things about the bike, flip the camera around. So here we have the 500 watt rear wheel e-bikeling conversion kit, and I paired that with a bottle battery also sold by ebikeling at the time, which is an 11.7 amp hour, 417 watt hour, 36 volt battery. And as you can see on the speedometer here, in 3 years I've got just 465 miles. So hasn't been used heavily, and stored it over the winter outside. Battery was inside. Checked the voltage several times during the winter, and I found that it was stored at around 50%. So that's 36 volts nominal. Full voltage on this pack is 42 volts, and so I was checking it periodically, and it was around 36 volts the last time I checked. But then at the end of winter, probably a month or two after that, when I got the battery in to check it again, and it was stored inside, pressed this little tester, and the lights just blinked and they didn't show the level. So basically, I think it had discharged below the functioning of the BMS, which I was kind of surprised. So last week I put it on the charger and let it charge to full, and this is the first time that I've ridden the bike since. And also, really, since this is my partner's bike, she really has used it mostly for less than 10-mile rides, and it's never really depleted the pack. We usually don't even charge it between rides because I don't want it stored at full voltage. So this is kind of like a shakedown test after 3 years. And let me show you the voltage at the current rate. I have been going for a little while. The voltage is 41 volts. And I've done 2.3 miles. The little doggy just showed up. So the plan is to ride it and see what kind of range I can get. And I probably won't do a full range test because I'm a little worried about it stopping early and then I'd be stuck. And the route that I chose is called Willow Creek Trail, and I'll be taking, let's see, the Big Dry Creek Trail to the Highline Canal Trail, and then maybe towards the South Platte River Trail, but I won't make it all the way there. It's only 12 miles, but I'm a little worried because it's all basically gradually downhill on the way, and then I would have to climb uphill on the way back. And since this is my partner's bike, I didn't even adjust the seat, and it's not really the right size frame for me. So I don't normally ride bikes. I ride a one-wheel most of the time, so I'm not in biking shape. Anyway, I do have a throttle. I have it set in PAS pedal assist level 3, and with nothing, just the throttle on level ground, it looks like it goes about 18 miles an hour. And when I'm pedaling, it's also going about 18 miles an hour. So this ride will be, at between 15 and 20 miles an hour on fairly level ground, and slightly downhill on the way out. And then at some point I'll decide I better turn around and head home, either because my body is breaking down or I'm worried about the battery. Anyway, I'll try to record a few little segments along the way with one hand while riding. But let me go over some of the other things about this kit and how I did the conversion. You can see that the battery is mounted on top of the frame, which is not ideal, but there was not a room inside the frame in this woman's bike. And so then I wrapped the excess cable that comes with the kit in an old inner tube that I cut up, and then it's clamped on there with hose clamps. And that's worked pretty well. it does move a little bit if you ride over really rough terrain. The back wheel was pretty easy. The only thing you have to worry about is getting this little safety thing on correctly.
Need any help?
No, I'm just recording a video, thanks.
Oh, good.
And then the other thing you need to watch out for is that your kit will actually fit in your frame dropouts. The width is, it has a little bit of leeway, but I had to kind of stretch mine a little bit to get it to fit. But other than that, the kit was pretty straightforward. I mounted the controller on the down pipe there, and as far as controls, you have the S830, and I bought the light, which is kind of cool. That's powered right here on the switch. It's not a super bright white light, but it's better than nothing. And that also has a horn. So anyway, this controls the display and setting of the mode and the size of the tire, etc. Showed you the voltage is now 40.9 volts. And been out here blabbing for 51 minutes. The total odometer 466 and the trip odometer 2.6 at this point. One thing I've noticed about this is that the battery gauge is very inaccurate, and even at half full it's showing 100% unless you're under throttle. So we can't really rely on that, and that's one of the reasons why I want to do a longer ride, get an idea of the real range out of this thing. So hopefully I'll get an idea of that on this ride before my back breaks down. All right, next time. And this is Willow Creek Trail. It's paved, park right here. A lot of the trail is paved. There's going to be some dirt with decomposed granite, but all pretty good for range. And it is downhill, but very slight, so it's not really even noticeable. Right now I'm just coasting along at 13 miles an hour with pedal assist on. Got to increase my gear, but they're kicked in. Here's a little road. Pretty crazy. I'm getting messages that my camera's too hot, so it's only about 80 degrees, but apparently that's too much for my camera to shoot long videos. So I'm going to keep each of these little segments short, just a little bit over that road. It's a very nice little trail. It goes along a creek here, and a lot of my ride is going to be along creeks. All right, I'll update once I've gotten to something else further. Okay, we're 6 miles in. Still on Willow Creek Trail. It's paved again. Boy, I tell you, I have noticed that this pedal assist is quite jerky when you're just trying to maintain a speed, and I'm not used to riding one-handed on a bike, or even really riding on a bike. So it's a little bit sketch, but here's what the trail's looking like at 6 miles. And I should show you the voltage here, but I can't do that without stopping, so I'll show you how my stopping goes with one hand. Let's see here. 40.5 volts is where we're at 6 miles. So that's still pretty full. Remember, half voltage is going to be at 36, but I don't know what this bike is actually going to do beyond that, so therefore the test. Okay, I'll resume this further along. Okay, I've made it to the Highline Canal Trail at 7.7 miles in and 40.2 voltage. 38 volts is about 3/4 of a charge realistically, but of course the gauge is still going to say 100%. But you can see the water coming down the waterfall here, And this is actually Little Dry Creek, which flows into Highland Canal. Here's some other canal infrastructure. The canal is not really used for irrigation anymore, but there's a trail that goes all along the length of it, all throughout Denver, winds around from way out at the foothills of the mountains where Denver gets some of their water from the South Platte River, and then it passes into this canal and flows around, and it used to irrigate a lot of ranches and things. So I'm going to continue probably at least until 38 volts. We'll see how much further I get. I still feel pretty good. I have noticed that using the throttle is a lot smoother than using the pedal assist, and of course, you know, if you're using pedal assist, you want to get your cadence to a real comfortable speed so that you are pedaling smoothly, and then the power from the motor should be smoother. There's also some settings on the controller that can control delay and how many magnet clicks it sees before it engages, and a few other pedal assist parameters, but I haven't really found any that makes it feel super smooth. So for smooth comfort, using the throttle is best, and I do like the way the bike is performing on this ride. Like I say, I haven't ridden it a whole lot, and when I have, it's just been short test rides, so this is my first really long ride, and I'm really not that far into it. I'm only 7.7 miles, but yeah, I'm impressed with it 3 years later, and it's still doing great. The bike has been to Burning Man, gotten dusty, worked great out there in the heat, and cleaned up nicely, and still working great. So totally recommend the ebikeling based on my experience and this kit. As far as simplicity, just follow directions, and you know, you should be good to go. Anyway, I'll update you further along the ride. Here we are riding along the Highline Canal Trail, heading south. We're at 9 miles. .6 voltage. And that's it for now. Okay, I have stopped at 10 miles and we are at 39.5 volts. That seems great, but given I don't know really what the range of this bike is, and it's all gradual uphill on the way home, I think I'm going to turn around. I'm feeling pretty good, so I could probably survive my ultimate destination, which was the river surfing park on the South Platte River, but that's another few miles, so that would probably be 5 miles to my ride, and I just don't want to have to get rescued today, so I'm going to turn around here instead. Let me show you something else I really like about this bike that we added. These velo trekking fenders. They're from Germany, and this is the 47. And they're really, I think, for the pair front and back, they cost just a little over $25, I think. And they're very nice quality, and they mount with just one single point in the front, and this is two in the back. I do recommend actually buying these metal supports, and they keep it from vibrating a little bit, but they worked fine without it. It's just that it's a little bit more rigid with those, so I ordered those separately, and those might have been an extra $10 or something. But very affordable and lightweight, and you can take them off pretty easily if you want. So I totally recommend those. Also, I put this seat on with springs. It's kind of an old seat that we got at a used bike shop and used bike parts, and it has this chamois on top. So anyway, I'm finding it pretty comfortable. And that's the 10-mile update. I'll let you know how it goes on the way back. And then maybe I'll ride a little further once I get back home just to try to run out more of the battery if there's enough charge left for that. Also wanted to comment that the pedal assist is pretty smooth once you're up to speed. So I'm just pedaling along pretty easily here. I think this is gradually downhill though. And cruising along at basically the same speed it would be if I wasn't pedaling and just using full throttle with pedal assist 5. It does go a little faster with pedal assist 3. And I was going to say pedal assist 5. It does go, I think, about 25 miles an hour top end on level ground. So that's pretty nice. Plenty fast for this kind of bike. You know, you don't really want to be going faster than your brakes can handle, and these are, you know, they take a little bit of stopping distance at 20 miles an hour. So anyway, that's it for here. Check in later. All right, here we are 3 miles later. And we're still at 38.5. Okay, so we've dropped a volt. I think I turned around at 39.5. Oh, there we go. So stopped at a light. 14.2, 38.3 volts. Still showing 100%, but we're down close to 75% realistically. I definitely could have made it my full route if I wanted to, but better safe than sorry, and we'll still maybe have a surprise at the end below 36 volts, so we'll see how it goes. I'll probably keep riding after I get back home. Okay, gotta walk, gotta go. All right, coming up on 15 miles uphill, 37 volts with sag, 38 without sag, and found this cool current display. Usually shows between, well, I've seen it up to 15 amps. Anyway, that's pretty cool. Another feature of this that you can geek out on. Show you what happens on when the voltage does get down to about halfway. The percent on the display starts to be affected by the voltage sag. You can see the current there around 15, and it's dropping to showing about the true reading once it's sagged at 15 amps. But otherwise, if you stop pedaling and current drops to 0, it's back up at 100%. So you really can't rely on that. Here, I'll accelerate again. Pedaling. I did see it get up to 22.5 amps. So that's, I think, pretty much a 20 amp controller in here. And that's the most you can get out of it. I also verified the top speed of about 26.5 miles per hour. I'm getting close to home. I definitely could have made that whole trip. Next time, I guess. I'll update you later with some more range information. Probably keep riding a little further past my house and see if I can get this down closer to empty. Okay, I'm almost home. I'm in a pedestrian bridge at Dry Creek, crossing I-25, and I'm at 18.4 miles. The voltage is 36.7, which is just a little over half, which would be 36. And look at that, the battery gauge is showing 1 bar gone finally. An indication that some battery is being used. So if we're not using the voltage, which is showing we're just a little over half, you'd still think you were close to 100% at this point. which is why I turned around early, because I don't know what really happens below 36 volts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ride a loop, which is about 6 miles near my house, and has some uphill and downhill. And so maybe I'll find out if it's going to end a lot sooner than I think, or if it'll go down to something closer to maybe 30 volts, which is what I would expect. All right, I'll update later. Okay, just crossed 20 miles. 36 volts, or halfway basically, according to the voltage. Oh, I wanted to say I put it on pedal assist 4 because as the voltage is dropping, I noticed that the speed that you go dropped as well. So it went down to 16 instead of 18. And now on pedal assist 4, I'm back cruising around 17 to 19, depending on the hill. All right, that's the latest update. Well, I stopped at the Centennial Airport and gone 22.2 miles. We're at 35.9, so just right below half full. Battery gauge shows 86%. I noticed that when I was coming up this hill to the airport, it sagged all the way down to 33%. And I'm thinking, that's probably about a lot more accurate than when you're not moving. So maybe that's the way to use it, is you go uphill and see what it says, and then you can use that as an indication of how much range is left. 22 miles, I think we probably are going to get 30 miles range. Might have to do 2 loops around the neighborhood golf course, which is about 6 miles. I'm about halfway around that loop right now at the airport. Letting my bottom rest a little bit. Have to admit, it's a tiny bit sore now after 20 miles. Anyway, I think I'm going to enjoy a few more takeoffs and landings, and then continue on my range test. Okay, I stopped again at 25 miles. We're at 35.3 volts on the loop, and I'm almost done with the loop. Just stopped in a parking lot because on this loop there's a lot of rush hour traffic at the moment. Oh, I want to show you something else. So we're a little less than half, and then if I press the button on the battery, it's showing 2 of the segments gone and 3 lit, for what it's worth. So really it should be probably closer to 3 bars down, but because it's between 60 and 40, still showing 3 bars, which is like 60%. And you can see here that the battery gauge is showing 80%. So it is starting to drop, but it's not accurate. Anyway, I'm going to attempt another loop and hope I can make it without pedaling. It's about 5 or 6 miles, I guess. I'll stop and update you about halfway around. All right. Well, as you can see, I have hit 30 miles, just a little bit past my house on another loop around the golf course. And I am at 34 volts. And the indicated range is 56%, but I think that I'm actually pretty close to reaching empty. When the voltage sags down to 31 volts, it said it had 10% on this percentage gauge. And based on all that, I believe that means that the BMS cutoff is probably around 30 volts. So I could still ride probably another loop around the golf course, another 5 miles. That's good to know. But at the same time, my rear end and my thumb for the throttle and my other hand for the grip is starting to get tired. So I'm pretty happy with that range. I'm going to call it as maybe 35 miles tops if you really wanted to eke out to the very end. But I'm not going to do that today because I'm just getting tired of riding. And I really don't want to pedal. I haven't worked up a sweat on this ride, but if I had to pedal it uphill, I certainly would be sweating because it's about 80 degrees. So overall impressions of the ebikeling 500 watt rear wheel conversion kit, e-bike conversion kit, and the 11.7 amp hour bottle battery from ebikeling is thumbs up. Yeah, it's gonna ride like a regular bike if you put it on a regular bike. It's not overpowering for the bike. It'll go up to 30 miles an hour if you're giving it a little pedal on PAS 5, pedal assist 5, and you have a full battery. That's plenty fast enough. It's too fast for this bike. Really, I feel like this bike shouldn't be going more than 20 miles an hour unless you're going downhill. And even then, you know, the brakes are not designed to go that fast. So perfect kit for this type of low-end cruiser type bike, and highly recommend it. I'll put a link in the description. I'll maybe put a little picture of their website. I don't know what the current price is, but I'll put that on the bottom of the screen right there, and check it out. Hope you enjoyed this review, and I'm overall very pleased with the range. Very minimal pedaling on this ride. When I was pedaling, it was very low effort, and did a lot of throttle. So just a lot of real gentle, easy cruising on this bike with this ebikeling 500 watt rear wheel e-bike conversion kit. Have a good day. Subscribe, like, do all that stuff if you like my channel and want to support me further. I do a lot of one-wheel content normally, and any other random little thing that happens to come to mind. So please subscribe if you like that kind of thing. Thanks again. This is the ebikeling.com website today and the current prices for the kit that I used. They have a little bit higher capacity battery now, which is the equivalent, and without the battery it's $349. With the battery that they sell now, it's $689. There's a couple other different size batteries, and they actually sell 48 volts and 36 volts for pretty close to the same price. Here's the final numbers back at the apartment. 31 miles, 33.6 volts. Took me 3 hours to do that, stopping a lot. But generally I was riding above 15, mostly around 18 miles an hour. 31 miles. Let me show you this on the battery. We got down to just the last 2 bars, and I believe at this voltage we're definitely down below 40%, but probably at 33% or so. So we definitely have a few more miles left in the battery if I needed to. But I did notice that the acceleration up hills was, starting to taper off. Speed was still pretty good in PAS 4, pedal assist, just using the throttle. I was going 18 miles an hour still, but took a little bit more time to get there. So, definitely feel the battery getting weaker. And battery gauge is going 50%, which is not accurate. But it was sagging going uphill all the way down to 10%. So I think that the BMS cutoff is probably at 30. And, probably still have some charge left for a few more miles, but it gets to be less fun as it gets near empty. So I'm pretty happy with that, and that's the final update.